Hi, recently on Talk Graphics, a member asked how they could create a button navbar that also incorporates photographs, and this is the way that I'd come around it. There are several different ways, but this is the way I'd do it. So let's preview the current website. And you have the buttons, and as you mouse over the buttons, the button text at the top changes, and we have the drop down menus before, which I think is pretty much the way the original poster wanted it to work. So how do you go about that? First things first, let me just zoom to 100% here. Is you could either create your own buttons right from the outset, or use some of Zara's built-in nav bars. And what I'll do is I'll use their built-in nav bars, which is probably easier for anyone that's fairly new to Zara. And I'll drag this countryside horizontal code in, because navbar in, because it's quite simple one. If I double click on it, I just want to, for the time being, delete all the other buttons apart from one, so I'm adding up from new. And what I need to do is, I've got a photograph here, and I need to have that photograph incorporated in that button, or viewable within that button. So I'll arrange, create a bitmap copy just for a minute, so we're using something the same size. Delete. Right, so we need to edit this button. What I need to do is elongate the hit area, so you can also incorporate the button size in it, the photograph size within the button. And if I select the one nav bar on 2 layers, if I then hold down the control key and just hit the green rectangle, it comes up with this warning. Yet, to edit inside a navbar button, you need to turn off the adjust button widths to labels option in the navbar dialog. So we'll hit the navbar dialog, click this adjust button width so it's unchecked. OK. Now, again, with it selected, one navbar on 2 layers, I can select that layer there, and I've now just got the one shape. There's this rectangle with the linear fill, and I'll just make that a bit larger. Similarly, I'll go into the mouse over layer, and again holding down control, click that rectangle with the pale blue linear fill and adjust that same size. Now I want the button text to be at the top, so I've just control selected the button text, and I'm going to move that up holding down control alt, which is there. For reasons that will come obviously later, I'll just change that text to blue. And similarly, I'm going to go do the same now with this button text in the mouse overlayer. Control and just control select it, holding down control alt, just drag it up. Often it's easier to work in wireframe, and then you can see what's happening on the both layers. Go back to that. I can now go back up to full frame, and if I then I'll make a new layer here, and new layer, I'll call this photos, which is going to be the layer that holds the photographs of the buttons, and I'm just going to drag this in here, in there, and what happens then when we preview it. You can see the button text here, and as you mouse over it, sorry, as you mouse over it, it changes colour from green to pale blue, but there's no sign of the photograph. So what you need to do is to remove or make these mouse over and mouse off rectangles that trigger the button transparent. So I'm going to turn off the photograph layer for the moment, turn off the mouse over layer for the moment, and just go into the mouse off. Again, I've selected one nav bar on 2 layers, so I'm going to hold down the control key, and I've just now got this green rectangle with a linear fill. I'm going to give that 99% transparency. Honk. Right, I'm going to shut down the mouse off layer and go to the mouse over layer, holding down, click on that nav bar again, control and click. So I've now selected that blue linear fill rectangle. I'm going to do the same. I'm going to make that a 99% linear fill. And let's just switch some of these off. And there you can see that the background for the button is no longer visible. And when we try and preview it, you can see that it works as a button. I can, sorry, no, we don't need that. I'm clicking on the wrong layer here. Let's just leave that viewable, but so it's not editable. I can double click on that, and I can add to add another layer. Click here, sub menu 1.1 or 1.2, I don't know, 1.2 we call it. Add another sub menu, (1.3) and one more sub menu 1.4. And first and foremost, we've got to remove that because we don't want that top button actually linking to anything. We need to set that to a link, and we just put the hash key in for the time being, or pound key, I think Americans call it. Okay, and hash, whoops, hash. Okay, obviously it later on would need more meaningful buttons, and then we can just give that a trial. What I need to do now is to align the photograph buttons to the button text, but you can see as I mouse over, the sub-menu appears. So I'm going to go back into the photos layer, and I'm just going to move that like that. I don't know if, yeah, wireframe again, just move it more to the middle. Let me just find import another photograph onto the photos layer. So I'm going to go into the bitmap gallery and I'm going to bring in this image here. And make it the same size, 70. These should really be optimized, but I'm not going to optimize them for the time being. Double click on the, shut that down again. Double click on the nav bar, put in sub menu 2.2, I suppose. Sub menu 2.3. Set that to hash. Okay. Set this to hash. Okay. Master button at the top doesn't need a link at all. Okay. Okay. Then when I test that again, you now get the sub menu working as you require. Anyway, I hope that helped. It's a bit convoluted, but once you get into the hang of it, it's quite simple. Anyway, this is Egg. All the best. Cheers. Goodbye.